from Teacher Gems, and I've had a few people asking me how to solve my logic puzzles, so I thought I'd put together a quick little video to show you how to solve a logic puzzle. So if you want to walk through this one with me, you can go ahead and download it from my store for free. So if you go to my website, teachergems.com, and click on Store, then just scroll down and click Enter Store, and that'll take you right to my Teacher Gems store on Teachers Pay Teachers. Scroll down here on the left side and you'll see a column called Logic Puzzles. So click on that and it'll take you to all of my logic puzzle products. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find this free sample that I'm going to walk you through right now in this video. So go ahead and download that, and once you have it up, scroll down, and here I did include a page of instructions. So all you need to know for now is that a circle means yes and an X means no. And you'll see what that means in a minute here. So all of my logic puzzles have three sections. There is a story, a grid, and clues. Now I always tell my students to make sure they read the story. A lot of times they want to skip over the story, but sometimes I will hide a clue in the story. So it's really important that they read the story as well. So let's start by reading the story. Four moms and their kids, boys Kevin and Mitch, girls Tara and Leela, made apple desserts. Read the clues to figure out which one kid helped each mom and what one dessert each mom made. All right, so in our grid here we have Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Lee, and Mrs. Davis. And then along the left column we have apple pie, apple crisp, applesauce, and apple tart. And the children Kevin, Tara, Mitch, and Leela. All right, and now for the clues. Number one, Tara helped her mom make apple crisp. All right, so we can't really do anything yet, but I do like to draw on here and just connect these two. So because we know that Tara helped her mom make apple crisp. All right, number two, the kid's name who helped their mom make apple pie is an alliteration. If you remember, an alliteration is when the first letter of each word is the same. So if we look at Kevin's name, is there a last name that starts with a K? No. So then we move on to the next one. Tara, is there a last name that starts with a T? No. Is there a last name that starts with M? No. How about L? There it is. Leela Lee. So we put a circle here because we know that Leela's last name is Lee. That means we can X out all of the ones in the same row because Leela's last name is not going to be any of these other last names. We can also X out all of the ones in the column, in the same column, because none of the other children's last name is going to be Lee. Now it also said in that clue that that child helped make apple pie. So we know that Leela Lee helped make apple pie. So we can now cross out all of the ones in the same column and all of the ones in the same row because nobody else made apple pie and Leela did not make any of those other apple desserts. Clue number three, Mrs. Smith's son is friends with Kevin. So that tells us that Mrs. Smith has a boy, and there's only two boys, Kevin and Mitch, so if he's friends with Kevin, it must be Mitch. So we can circle Mrs. Smith's son is Mitch, which means none of these are her children, and nobody else has Mitch for a son. Now, neither Mitch nor Mrs. Jones made apple tart. All right, so neither Mitch, so if Mitch is Mrs. Smith's son, then she did not make apple tart also, and Mrs. Jones, so we cross out that one. Now we're through all of our clues. We can reread the clues, or we can look at our chart first and see if there's any that we can figure out from here. And I notice there's three X's here, which means this one has to be the answer for that, which means I can X out all of these. Now, I read through the clues again. So, Tara helped her mom make apple crisp. Okay, so how can that help us? Well, let's look here. We see that Mrs. Davis made apple tart. So, Mrs. Davis cannot be Tara's mom because Tara made apple crisp. That leaves Kevin as Mrs. Davis' son, which means we can X out this one. It also leaves this one as the only one left. So Tara has to be Mrs. Jones' child because remember, she made apple crisp. So we X that one out, we X this one out because it's in the same row, and that leaves us with this one. So there you go, you can check your answers. Oops. You can check your answers here on this answer key that I've also included, but just by scrolling down here. And I just wanted to show you one other thing here. If you go through my store here, there is this logic puzzle incentive program. And one thing that I found is that most students love logic puzzles. My fourth graders, it was their favorite thing to do. But you will have a few that just give up if something is too hard. So to motivate students to try the logic puzzles, I came up with a logic puzzle incentive program, which you can find in my teacher store. Now this program is filled with student prize charts as well as corresponding teacher charts. There are student awards, full class awards, as well as individual student awards. The only thing that's not included is the logic puzzles themselves, but I found that this is a great way to help encourage students to try the puzzles and to increase their higher order thinking skills. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more tips and video tutorials, you can visit my website, teachergems.com. Thanks for watching.